Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Real Life Gaze.
Hi.
This week's episode is a special one. We have brought on our mothers. As you can see, we have Lisa.
Hi.
Karen.
Hi.
And Jacqui.
Hi.
They're all here to join us this week. They're going to be answering the viewers' questions on us.
Yep.
I think. Kind of us.
Kind of us.
Kind of us. And obviously I'm joined with my beautiful boys, Lee and Gareth. Boys, how are we doing?
We're
all good, thank you.
Good.
It's been 2 weeks. We're gonna. Seems to be every 2 weeks now, every episode. So we apologise. We've all got different things going on. So we're trying to record as often as we can. So please just be patient.
Exactly. And I hope everyone enjoyed last episode because we were all a little bit pissed.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little
It was
bit.
good fun. It was really good fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was good fun. I loved
did
it.
that at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, I kept my mum up all night.
Yeah.
We did a live till 4 a.m.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
Lee's fault. It's Lee's fault, really.
It's your fault, Lee. I heard them
I was a good
doing
boy.
disco
I was the best.
sounds and then shouting, bye, bye. And I was like, say bye quietly.
But it was worth it. It was a really good night.
It was a good night. I was very drunk.
Glad you enjoyed it.
The same as always, if you have any questions for us or if you'd like any advice or any help, our email address is reallifegaze@yahoo.com. We also have the mugs.
Yeah.
Ding ding. Oh, stop taking
I
my
got
spot.
such a good water in it as well.
And I've got a shirt now. So we're going to start with questions. For the viewers and obviously for the mums who haven't done this before, we're going to go around in a circle. Okay, so I will ask the first question, and then if you want to answer it, then Lee's mum, Jacqui, can answer it, and then Karen can answer. And we'll keep going around that way.
Okay.
Sound good for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, question number 1. So mums, did you have an inkling that your son was gay? And if so, how old was he?
Yes, absolutely. And he was about 2 or 3 years old. And he was such a little delicate little boy and used to love walking in my shoes, him up in my clothes. And I had loads of girlfriends, obviously, that would go, he's gay, you know he's gay. And I'd be like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Because he used to get on so well with my friends' daughters, because a lot of them had daughters. So, yeah, but an absolute pleasure. So, yes, I knew it.
Am I next?
Yes, you are, my love.
I'm next. Yes. It was more into senior school. He had more friends that were girls than anything, and we sort of noticed him looking at pictures and cutting out pictures of boys and sticking in his bedroom and little things like that. I hid a few of them. You know, like when you're picking up the dirty dishes and yeah. So we sort of did, but we wanted him to realise himself, I think, as well, and to not push him into that asking him or anything, because imagine if he wasn't. It's a bit no. You know, so, and he had to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite a few years, wasn't it? It was more sort of 17, 18 when he came to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lauren?
Mother?
Yes, I knew from a very young age, probably 3 or 4. We used to sit in the bath, playing with Barbie dolls, dressing up in his sister's clothes, my high heels. Most of his friends as well were girlfriends rather than male friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had an inkling from a very young age.
How old?
Maybe 4.
4.
4, yeah, 4 or 5. I thought there was something. wasn't quite sure if he was gay or just maybe going to turn out
A woman.
to be a woman. We had this conversation many a times because he was so feminine. So yeah.
Aww.
They're all very similar.
Yeah.
They're quite similar. I think the similarities is like the fact that we had more girlfriends than guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously,
You don't have any male friends, did you?
I had no male friends.
No.
I didn't have any, I don't think.
No.
But then I've got brothers and cousins that are all boys.
Mm.
You're the same.
Same.
Go on then, Lee. What's the next question, Gorgeous?
So, right, the next question. Before your sons came out to you, what did you feel about LGBTQ+? So that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning/queer plus.
You go first, my love.
Jacqui, yeah.
Me go first, okay. Lee has just given all the details to his grandparents so they can watch this. So I may have to tone it down slightly. But I grew up, in my growing up, I suppose it was a world of men, and my mum used to do the tea, and so the man's voice was the biggest, and it was quite a homophobic in my growing up that I would listen to. I mean, nobody went, it was horrible, but it was, I would hear things, and right from a very early age, I hated bullies. I hated anybody that wasn't fair, and right from an very, very early age, sort of 10, 11, 12. And as I grew up and maybe got into my teenage years, I became more challenging to my dad, who was more homophobic. So I was already championing anything that was negative towards anybody who seemed to be an underdog in my, Now, whether it was because I was just being awkward with him, I don't think it was, because even as we grew into adulthood, me and my husband, I did have the odd gay friend, but that was through work. It was more that I was working, and I did see some bullying, and I hated that too. And it was just, and I think when you told us, even Lee, through his upbringing, would hear me come home from work and say, I'm not happy about this, and this happened today, and I would challenge things. But even him, when he told us he was gay, it wasn't quite as easy as that. He actually was worried that we may chuck him out. And I remember saying to him, but everything I've ever said and everything I've ever showed you and what we've thought, and you still felt that, and that really hurt me because, and it was like, and he said, but I really didn't know because it was me. Mm-hmm. It was because it was him and it was so close. So, no, it was. I would always challenge something if I heard it, and I suppose it because it was in my personal life too. My dad is amazing now. He is brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah.
He completely, and in a way, that's like saying, well, it's because it's my grandson. I would say to him, even years ago, that makes no difference. You should have been fairer earlier, And now he's got family members, but he is brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He'd die for Lee. So, he's amazing. But yeah, so that was part of my growing up, but it was part of our era as well.
Yeah.
Well, people were scared. They had no knowledge, and they had to gain that knowledge. But I mean, even I didn't have that much knowledge. You don't go up to somebody and ask them certain questions. This is amazing what you're doing now, because people can ask you anything.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Mum? Would you say the same?
Yeah, I would say virtually just about everything you've said. I was the same with my father, brought up in that kind of old school ignorant way. And they would say things just like you're saying about your dad that we didn't really agree with, but you were brought up with it. The women kept quiet. We didn't really understand as youngsters ourselves. But I'm very much the same as you when it comes to bullying, whether it be somebody that's fat or gay, whatever it may be, there's bullying out there. And it's just awful. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, everything you said, totally agree with.
Okay, so I remember my first kind of thoughts on the matter, because I used to love Freddie Mercury. Used to really, really love him, and I never really kind of like knew that he was gay until his funeral, which was 84. But and then Frankie Goes to Hollywood as well. So, and George Michael and all of them, and it was like, oh, okay, oh, right. What? And I didn't really knew what it meant. And then I was like, oh, right. So he doesn't like women; he likes men. Oh, okay, fine. And then I started work, and I worked with a guy called Paul, and he was so out there, and he would tell everybody not be afraid of it, and that kind of like inspired me as well, because me and him used to get on so well. He was a little bit older than me, but he just used to make me laugh every day. I'd go in the office and he'd make me laugh, like for some reason or other, and be such a close friend. So for me, I kind of like, from way before Rhys was born and, you know, had all, you know, sort of realised that I knew that being a different kind of sexual wasn't frightening. And so therefore, obviously, I suppose we all kind of like, as the perfect family, would love, you know, 1.2 children, and you know, they'll have children, and but it's kind of like, I suppose in when I was sort of growing up into knowing more about, you know, sort of different sexual relationships, that it was actually okay. And actually, funny enough, your nan would say later on in the years, it's just love. That's all it is. It's just love.
Yeah.
So I need to be frightened of it. So yeah, kind of got that early on.
So you was alright, basically.
I was fine.
You was alright.
Yeah, fine.
Go on then, Gareth. What's the next question?
And he tells me what to wear and not what to wear.
You were saying it was who you. Mine was Rock Hudson and Doris Day.
Ah.
He broke my heart. Rock Hudson did.
Oh.
The two of them together. Oh gosh, yeah.
James Dean.
Let me see. Did you have a thought that when you were younger, what your reaction would be if any of your family members came out? Did that thought ever come into your head, Mother?
No, it didn't actually when I was younger. Only really probably when you came along, that I started thinking, you know, there's something.
And did you prepare yourself for the moment when I would come out?
I think when you got to about 12, 13, and there started to be a different issue altogether at school, the bullying, which you have touched on another show, I kind of knew, but again, didn't want to push Gareth at that point, wasn't ready to come out. And I always said he'll do it in his own time, which he did. It was never going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about you? I'm the only gay one, aren't I?
Yeah, you're only gay village.
I'm the only gay in the family.
Don't you?
Yeah, pardon the pun. So, yeah, I kind of like, obviously, you, as I said before, it wasn't really, I suppose, not spoken about until later on. So, yeah, I kind of like didn't really. That's the dog trying to get in.
Sorry, the dog's just.
He's got it.
The dog's just.
So we've just had one with hooched off.
Here we go. Yeah, it's I suppose. Yeah, you kind of like. It was almost like a learning curve for me as well. Before, obviously, that I kind of like from the word go. Shut the door. From the word go, and Rhys is going to hate me for saying this, absolutely. But when obviously I gave birth to Rhys, My mum was in the room, and obviously his dad. And when Rhys was born, the nurses said, "Oh, you've got a lovely daughter." So I was like, "Oh my god, my daughter, my daughter!" And I'd always wanted a boy, but it was a bit of a shock. Oh my god, I've got a daughter, lovely, lovely, and I named her there and then Hayley. And so about 10, 15 minutes of his life, he was a girl, Hayley. And then it wasn't, obviously, they wrapped her up, gave him to me, little girl. So I looked at him, looked at her, "Oh baby, Hayley, you're lovely," you know. And then they took him away to weigh him and measure him. And at that point, Rhys's aunt walked in the room, and another nurse came in, and the one that was sort of sorting everything out. So a lovely little girl. So the other nurse went, "That's a boy." Yeah. No, it's a girl. It's a girl. Boy. So it's almost like from that moment on, like it was destined.
Thanks for telling.
Destined to be gay.
Come on, Jacqui, my love.
So yeah, did you have a thought when you were younger?
Oh yes, I remember. Yeah. Only with the situation with my dad, I actually remember sort of saying, or in a group of people, well, if I have a child that is gay, then I'm going to be okay. I'm going to support, that would be. So yeah, I did then, because I remember thinking, you just never know, and you can't be like this in life. Yeah. And if one of my children are gay, then we'll support them. And I remember I remember throwing down a bit of a challenge there. I was probably about 15, 16 then, getting a bit more, outspoken.
Questions. Is it my turn now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Was there any friends or family that disapproved of us coming out? Mother?
Yes, there was. Without saying names, there was one member of the family that didn't say anything at the time, was very quiet, but when Rhys had his first boyfriend at the age of
13.
Yes. They were so that was so obviously I was fine, and other close members were fine, and then just one day that it kind of like I went to go to this family member's house, and it was said that with Rhys's boyfriend, and we was basically told that I was told that you're condoning it, so you're condoning it. And I was like, sorry, what are you on about? So anyway, so it kind of like sort of hit sort of like went from 0 to 60, and you're condoning that disgusting thing, So, but since then,
it's got better.
Yes, much better.
Accepted.
Yeah, and yeah, accepted. So, but yeah, that was kind of like the first family member, or the only family member that has ever sort of put that for me. And at that time, I remember replying to them that
you stood up for me.
I did, yeah. And I was like, well, listen, basically, it's love, and if you can't handle that, then we'll say our goodbyes now. But yeah, so it's all kind of like, yeah, it's all like now. On level now. So yeah.
Good.
Jacqui?
Okay. Lee wanted to tell everybody as soon as he told us. Very quickly, you wanted within a few days. You wanted everyone to know you were happy and excited and accepted, and so everyone was absolutely amazing, weren't they? They were brilliant. And if you one or two aunties said, we sort of guessed. Yeah, we'd not really had the conversation with them, but everybody sort of, you know, do you know what? That makes sense. And yeah, there was one, you know, you've always got one or two in a family. Well, we've got about 3 or 4 that we don't really see or whatever, but there was a big family do. Now, I wasn't there, but Lee had gone with his auntie and another uncle. And it was actually my brother, wasn't very happy about it. And I wasn't there, but I was told, wasn't I? He came out at the end of the night, he'd had something to drink, and he was being quite aggressive with Lee. My sister popped Lee in a taxi and shot him off. He didn't touch him, but he was not very happy, and he was saying things about him being gay, and it was over very, very quickly.
I think I was actually there with my first boyfriend as well.
Were you there with your first boyfriend? Yeah. And I wasn't there, was I? But and you'd come back in a taxi, and that was literally the only situation. And we've not seen him since anyway. So that was years and years. So you know, and so those sort of people. He was out of our life initially, way before anything to do with that. And he was just, do you know what the best thing was? He married somebody whose stepdaughter's gay, lesbian. Yeah, and he's perfectly accepting. You see, you move through life, don't you? And so
live and learn.
Yeah.
Well, I think all our family knew Gareth was gay before he probably knew he was gay. And the one I was worried about telling was my dad. Again, because of the whole upbringing thing that we discussed earlier, my dad would say things like queers and poofs. That's how we were brought up.
Shirt lifters.
Yeah.
That was my class.
I remember going into my dad, everyone else was fine, they were all like, we've all known from Gareth's ties. So I remember going into my dad and saying to him, I've got something to tell you, Dad. And he was like, and I says, before we go any further, if you've got anything negative to say at all, you'll lose your daughter. And it was a big shock. And he was like, what is it? So I said to him, and he was like, for goodness sake, I think we've all known Gareth. To me, I don't know who was more shocked, me or him.
Yeah.
But he was totally and utterly fine. And Gareth's apple is out, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you remember what your granddad said to you? I think I can remember. Can you remember?
I think it was just what you said. So.
It was something like, you're our first grandson, you're our first baby. It's absolutely fine. See, he'd grown up. So I was in my 20s. So it was years on. And I think maybe they knew. They supported me with Lee. They would have him if I was working late. You know, they would do that. And they had lots and lots of time with you, didn't they?
Yeah.
On your own before the other boys came along, because there was a big gap. And you were his special person. And it was Lee. So it was fine.
Yeah.
It was love, like you say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Whose turn is it? I forgot.
Gareth.
Gareth, your turn.
Just be prepared. How much, if at all, has your child being gay changed your view on the world or the people in it?
I don't think my views changed at all.
Is it more sparkly?
I don't know about that. No, I think I'm quite a tolerant person for everything, really. So no, I don't think
It didn't change.
you being gays changed my attitude towards anything, really.
Well, you know what? And this is a very positive answer. With knowing that Rhys is who he is, has learnt me or taught me to, when you have an absolutely amazing, beautiful person in your life, regardless, your child, your friend, your mum, your dad, and they absolutely bring joy to everything, like through bringing him up, it's almost like you know that person, no matter if they wasn't who they were, they would never ever have brought you that joy.
So me being gay has taught you joy, is that what you're saying?
Taught me that you're
because I'm a joyful person.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to bring up. It was an absolute pleasure to bring up. I wouldn't change the world. So
no, there was a period.
Well.
No, I feel like the Wicked Witch now. It gave me fear
Oh, did
I
it?
was frightened for him. Yeah.
Oh.
Because the world's a nasty place.
Mm.
Oh,
And he has had some nasty things. He's had a work colleague that was nasty, nasty, sarcastic, as many times as she could be. He's had the bullying. He's had, you know, and he's just strived above it all, and he's an amazing person.
No, it's so emotional.
It's true though. I can relate to that.
I think that's true. I think I can understand why some parents would be scared because it can be horrible sometimes.
And that's what Dad said when I came.
Gareth's dad was frightened for him.
Yeah.
The first week at uni, wasn't it? First week at university, when Gareth came home and told me that. And Dad's reaction was, oh God, what's going to happen to him? He's moved, he's living in Edinburgh and going out to all these gay clubs. And he had all these visions in his head of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And you really didn't have any of that.
No.
Big issues. We actually went to a gay nightclub with him.
We did, you loved it. My mum got hit on.
I did too.
Yes.
This girl kept coming up and asking me to dance. I was like, awfully nice.
His gay nightclub, Lee's gay nightclub, was opposite a church. And if they ever went out for a cigarette on the balcony, they were heckling them from the church. I mean,
They'd say stuff like, "Oh, come up here, and we'll convert you to their religion."
Oh gosh.
But then there are certain people in the smoking area that say, "No, come down here, we'll convert you."
Love it.
yeah.
I love it. I have a question. I don't know who it's from. I'm a mum of a 13-year-old girl, but she wants to be non-binary. Did I say that right? Non-binary, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I'm 44, and when I was growing up, you were either gay, lesbian, straight, or trans. But there are so many sexualities now. And she said, this sounds bad, which it's okay, it doesn't. Obviously, it's always been there, but never really talked about. I have no issue with any sexuality, and I'm very much, you love the person for who they are. But I seem to be struggling with my daughter. She's not officially said I am, but makes little comments here and there. Any advice would be great. Before the mum's answer, for the person that's asked this question, I would just like to clear up that non-binary doesn't mean gay, straight, or bi. It's not to do with sexuality, it's to do with gender.
Yeah.
So it's because your daughter would like to see herself as neither male nor female, or both, depends on the person.
Yeah.
That's my bit of advice, just from a gay perspective.
Yeah.
From your perspective.
I suppose from a parent's perspective. She's 13. Her hormones are going to be like way mad. And I suppose the advice would be just, obviously keep your boundaries. But I would say, just be there for her whenever she needs, or them. Just be there as much as you can, and just be, you can listen. You haven't got to give an opinion. Just listen, and just let her know. Or sorry,
that's good advice.
Let them know that if you're never going to judge, and there's nothing in the world that you can say that would shock me. And I'm here for you always.
That's good advice.
Jacqui?
I think very similar. You were saying about hormones. Everybody, I'm sure, questions at that point that they're looking at girls, they're looking at boys, they're all developing shapes and boobs and all sorts of things. They like what they see, they don't like what they see. So why wouldn't they want to be non-binary? I think maybe we all went through that without really knowing. and just sort of, it's that sort of just and she's just got to see what happens, be there for her. She may grow through that, she may grow deeper into that, and she loves her. She's already wants to support her, doesn't she?
Yeah,
she's already there. So
Yeah.
just carry on how you're going and just be there. Help her through.
Absolutely, I would agree. At 13, your hormones are all over the place and you don't really know what's going on. And I don't think that really happens till you maybe 15, 16, where you really start to know about your own sexuality or have an idea if you are going to be different from the norm.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's asked for help tells me a big story that she loves her daughter.
Yeah. And
No
there's
matter-
no right or wrong.
No matter.
No right or wrong in this.
And to be honest, I didn't really know what non-binary meant at all. I had to ask Gareth. I'd never heard of it. And that's maybe an age thing, but it's nice to be educated.
But the answers to these could also be put into context if she meant whether or not she doesn't know her sexuality.
Mhm.
You know, if she doesn't know if she's, wanting to be male, female, or non-binary,
Mhm.
or doesn't know if she likes men, women, or both.
Yeah.
That answer could be for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just understanding the difference between gender identity and then sexual identity
Yeah.
for some people. And again, no offense to anybody that watches this or to the mums that are here.
Yeah.
No.
Like you've said, it could be like an age or a generation type thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like she said in her question, brought up with gay, lesbian, trans, you don't really, you didn't hear of these things. I don't know about you, but I certainly didn't. And I've had my eyes opened, and I'm open-minded to everything now.
yeah,
Being educated, it's not a bad thing.
no, it's not. Lee, your turn to ask a question.
So the next question is, have you ever experienced any abuse or hate from anyone about your son's sexuality?
Only that one time, really. I don't think. No, I don't think I have.
I don't think so.
I've not been personally attacked. For Lee being gay. No, I haven't. No, they wouldn't dare.
That's what I was going to say. They couldn't dare. You go ahead, will you?
I do.
Yeah.
I love that. You? Not from
Well,
family, from
not
anyone else.
only that one time. I've been out into the pubs, and you kind of like hear a few little comments and that, and then luckily, yourself, you kind of like, are you talking, what did you just say? If they're saying it to me, and then they go, oh, sorry, no offense, it's fine, but yeah, you do get, obviously you can hear like people like joking, and but I know that the people that we know would respect that love is love, and obviously you're going to have other people out there that that will see it as devil's work, as they say. But yeah, it's a big world, isn't it? And as long as you have lovely people around you and keep them, then
Should be good.
should be good. Yeah.
I don't know if we asked this question already. What advice would you give to another parent whose son or daughter has come out as gay or any form of LGBTQ? Have we asked that question?
Kind of with the non-binary one, but this one's more just about being gay and LGBTQ. So
What advice, if someone came to you and said, I'm worried, or my son or daughter has come out as gay, lesbian, whatever, what advice, having gone through it, would you advise? I know it'll probably be similar to what you said before.
It's exactly the same as what I've said before. It's your son, it's your daughter, it's unconditional love.
Yeah.
There's no question. When you came to me and you said, I've got something to tell you, I said it before you did.
And you did. Are you gay?
Are you gay? He was like, yeah, and I was like, thank God, I thought you were going to say you wanted sex change. That's true.
There's
That's
nothing
true.
wrong with that.
No, there isn't. But I was so worried.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what we didn't want to say that first. So we thought, right, we'll have him. Have you made somebody pregnant? And he went,
I said, no, I don't
no, I
think
don't
I'll
think
be
I
able
could.
to.
I went, oh, you're gay. Yes, we know. And he went, why didn't you say something?
That's what I said then.
What do you mean, why didn't we say something? What if we'd have said that and you'd have gone, Mum, I'm not gay. That's awful. Fancy saying that to me. So he gave me the responsibility to say, why didn't you say something if you knew? So we thought, yes, have you made somebody pregnant? Me and his dad thought it was hilarious. He was crying his eyes out. And then we ran round and told everybody, didn't we? all the relatives.
Yeah.
All afternoon and evening we were going to go round people, and because he was just so happy that it was there, and
It was a relief.
yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
It's just the weight lifted.
When you've
Yeah.
told the most important people, being the parents, I remember you phoning me going, well, who do you want to tell now? And I was like, do you know what? I don't care now. Tell whoever you want, because you two were the most important people.
Yeah.
And after that, I didn't care. I was like, tell everyone.
Yeah.
Do you know, after that point, we felt a bit of an island, and me and his dad, because we thought we were waiting for this to happen, and what do we do now? How can we support him? He's like all on his own with us who know nothing. Like, yeah. And I don't know if I looked on the internet or something, but I found a support group. And we rang them. I think I rang them. And we weren't allowed to know where it was. We had to drop him off. It was a theatre that we dropped him off. And they went to some rooms or offices.
I can't remember what it was now. It was
But they changed
like
it every so
walk away.
often. And until he'd been going a while, we were then allowed to go and pick him up from there, or they'd go back to the theatre, because there were young people and they didn't want anyone knowing that there was a support group for gay people.
Yeah.
Because it could have been quite,
And we're talking this, I'm 39 as you know, so
He
I
was 17,
18, so it was like
yeah.
a different
However, some of the experiences he got there, maybe I'd have probably preferred not to that, quite so quickly. I think it was, new meat. Honestly, thank you. He told me that later, years and years later. But your mum took you, It was called Giggle.
Giggle.
Yes, I think Godiva, gay, lesbian.
GIG. It was
something like that.
GYG. Godiva Young, gay, lesbian. Yeah, Godiva Young, gay, lesbian, something like that. And it's spelled Giggle in Coventry. I don't know if it's still going, but he did loads of work with them. He did lots of work with Terence Higgins Trust.
Yeah.
Lots of different things. Went to schools and did stuff like that, didn't you? So
workshops
and different things like that with them as well. But yeah.
And then we all used to go to the pub afterwards.
Like that here, I know.
There's nothing like that here that we definitely did not know of.
No.
I think we've got
It was slightly underground, it was slightly hidden, wasn't it? Because of the danger in case.
Safety,
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, obviously before Rhys came out and told me, at the time I was working, and my boss was a lovely lady, and she had 3 children. 2 of the eldest were the girls, the daughters, and her youngest was the golden child, the boy. And he was such a good-looking lad, and at that time, obviously, Rhys was still very young, and although I still had in the back of my head thought, I think he might be. It came out that my friend boss at the time, even though the 2 daughters, his older sisters, knew, he'd confided in them way before, and then obviously the time would come where he would have to tell his mum and dad. And I remember it broke her heart, because she was a bit older than me, and it broke her heart. And she didn't tell me this until after everything. And So she was in denial, and he told her, and she went, no, you're not, you're so not. You think you might be, but you're not. And I think he was about 19 at the time. And then it wasn't, her two daughters went, Mum, he is. Like, we've known for years. He confided in us. And that really hurt her. So she was telling me this, obviously, afterwards. And she ended up bringing a support line for herself because she couldn't deal with it. And she spoke to this guy, and which kind of like set the concrete for me, because as she was telling me this, I kept thinking of Rhys, even though he was little and, you know, probably about seven years old. And she would say to me that this support guy, she rang him and spoke to him, and obviously it was, you know, like you were saying, that it's that support for families or, you know, people
like
that,
a family member support.
Yeah. And she said the most amazing thing, she said, which just clicked and just turned her, the thoughts, instead of being, you know, that's horrible, that's nasty, you know. And he did say to her that, how was your son, what was he like when you brought him up? How was he, you know, as a child? And, you know, and she, oh, he's my angel, he's my golden child, I love him so much, and he was this, and, you know, never let me down, and, you know, always beautiful. And then the support guy just replied with, so that's sort of, you know, if he wasn't who he is today, you would never have had that amazing like sort of time with him if he wasn't who he is. So she kind of thought, actually, I wouldn't want to change that ever. The fact that I brought this lovely, you know, person into the world, and he was an angel. So to this day, she's like everything. She is totally like, just that one conversation changed her thoughts, her minds, and I think all the mums have said like the right thing when it comes to allowing your child to tell you instead of you trying to force it out of them. I think when you're in the closet, and obviously I know moms don't know how it really feels, but it is the most painful, scary thing to go through, to feel like you're going to disappoint somebody, or like Lee said, feel like you're going to get kicked out of the house. All these things go through your mind. So the fact that you guys waited for us to have the confidence to say, here I am, that's probably the best thing, I think.
Yeah. If only all mothers are like you.
Mummies. Right, so the next question is, do you wish your son was straight?
Not now, no.
Not now?
Not now. When I was growing up, no. So when I was being told, when he was young, that, oh, he might be gay, you know he's going to be gay, and I'd be like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then I'd be like, no, it's not, no. And then obviously as the years went by, and as I say, a few people that would influence me, and the fact that, as I said, this lady, way before Rhys came out, is what she said to me that turned me to thinking, actually, Rhys has been an absolute pleasure to bring up, and I won't tell the others. But I would love.
You can't say it.
Oh my, yeah.
You'd love all your children to be gay.
Because they're just an absolute pleasure. But I can understand that some people would want the normal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very similar. No, not now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change him for the world. Originally, and it's just because you don't know any different, do you? And when somebody comes to you and you're thinking that they are going to be gay, and you worry, and the differences and the struggle that they may have and all, you don't wish that for them. I wouldn't wish that my child was gay. But when he came to us and told us, it was absolutely fine. We knew anyway, and we'd had time to get there, but and we were still worried for him. And he has had the challenge, you know, he's had things, but he's come through and it's made him the person he is today. And so no, and I just have to say, I do have 2 gay sons. Yes.
She's beat God.
There is a bit of a joke. There is a bit of a joke in the family. Zachary is my youngest, and he's straight, right? And I've sort of said to him, I do want grandchildren somewhere along the line, and you're the one that's going to.
No pressure.
I mean, he may never get married or have grandchildren, but I've told him already. Well, it'd be a bit of a disappointment. I do have a daughter. She's my adopted daughter, and she's given me grandchildren. I've got 4. So that's lovely, but Zachary gets the eye, and just remember, because they don't want, the other 2 don't want children, so, which is fine.
Yeah.
I've got children all over the place, don't worry.
Absolutely.
The mum, do you want to have a straight?
Never. No. No.
Look at that confidence. See that confidence?
Yeah, it just wouldn't enter my mind. You've been gay as long as I can remember.
I came out of the womb.
Hello, hi, I'm here. No, a bit the same though, a bit worried when you first came out, just like you said,
Yeah.
the challenges, but we also had challenges as youngsters.
Yeah.
Straight people had challenges, albeit a bit different. We worried because of the bullying, the name calling and all that sort of stuff. But when I was growing up, we got called names for different reasons, and we got picked on for different reasons. Our straight son got picked on at school because he was fat, you know, and he went through a terrible time, just the same as Gareth went through a terrible time for different things.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change any of them for the world. And when it comes to grandchildren, well, I have got 2 grandchildren already, and my oldest son, he's got a partner, and she has a son. And Gareth, I don't think he's daddy material at all.
Eventually.
Eventually, he's got no patience at all.
Mum's quite happy to not have grandchildren yet because she doesn't want to be called Nanny. She has to be called Auntie Lisa.
Best feeling in the world being a grandma.
Yeah.
It's not sooner.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Whose question
What's
is
the
it?
next question?
Is it me? No, it's
Gareth, yeah.
Was it me?
Is it Gareth?
Gareth.
No. Do you think you would feel differently? We've already kind of answered this in the last question. If your son was an only child, as in, did it help accepting your child was gay because you knew you had other kids? Because all of us here have siblings. So was it easier to accept knowing that you had my brother and sister?
No, I don't think it would have made any difference to me whatsoever.
Okay.
You know, if you'd been an only child and you told me you're gay, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, he's never going to get married and have children, I'm not going to have grand. It wouldn't have entered my mind.
Well, especially now, maybe back, you know, a few years ago now. So Lee.
Excuse me.
Because we can have kids now at a different kind of way, starting to see adoption, and we can legally get married, it wouldn't change as much. So I think maybe years ago, everyone might have thought, oh my God, that means I'm not going to get grandkids, they're never going to get married, I'm never going to walk them down the aisle, how awful. But I suppose now it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But it's just interesting to know, all of us did come out. Did that thought cross your mind? Thank God I've got other kids.
No, do you know what? No.
She wishes I was an only child.
Hope your brother and sister are not going to go watch this. Just brother, see.
Excuse me.
God, no, I've never ever thought. Yeah, I mean, I suppose because I had Rhys at a very young age, 19, and I've had children since the age of 19, and Rhys's younger brother is 13 now, so it's almost like it's fine. Get a dog. It's fine. No, so side, but no, you know, obviously I would step up, and if Rhys adopted or any of the other his brothers, but no, yeah, I suppose, yeah, I've not really thought about that side of things, but wouldn't bother me anyway. So
Here we go. So Lee is gay, and his younger brother is growing up, and there's a 12-year gap. And we see that Jake may be gay. We can see it. We're experienced now, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Will and Grace had a lot to do with this. Just Jack. And I remember saying to Jake, he was talking about being, because it's a lot more of an open conversation, and he's so different. And I'm sort of saying, I know you think Lee is amazing, and I know you love Will and Grace. Just take your time. We thought he was gay, but we also thought he was loving the idea of being gay as well. So, we just didn't want that real, I think we sort of knew. I think we sort of knew, didn't we, all of us? But initially, sorry, Jake, it was a little bit like he was playing at being gay because he just loved it so much. Yeah. And it was easy for him. Yeah. It was just easy. He just could be. And I do remember thinking, oh, well, there is Zachary. But the grandchildren, all very light-hearted and joke. But yeah. But you're talking about adoption and things like that. We're foster carers, and I did my first gay adoption. 2 men, 2 little boys, 2 men. Oh, it was amazing. It was the best one we'd ever done. Aww. They were amazing. They still keep in touch with us. It was just to actually be able to do that for a family. It was brilliant. The little boys went on their first gay march year before last, and they sent me all photographs of it as well. And it's just it was like a privilege, to do that. Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway.
I want to do that as an episode, adoption and gay adoption. I want to do that as a future episode.
Yes, because I've got gay friends. I've got 2 lesbian friends who are foster carers that have done, and 2 gay married couple. I've been to loads of gay weddings. They're brilliant. Who foster and have done an adoption, outwardly adoption. Yeah, so yeah.
That would be an interesting episode.
And why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if we could ask.
Ask them for us, please. Yes.
You never know.
Is it mine?
I know it's just Danny's question, isn't it?
Just Danny's question. Lee, do you want to ask it, or do you want me to ask it?
Hold on.
He's making sure we've not missed any.
Each one.
Which one was it? Oh, yeah. Can you remember it?
Yeah, ish.
The gist.
Come on, you do it.
Okay, so we had a question from Danny. His question was, he has a friend whose son has gone off the rails a little bit. They're a gay son. They've gone off the rails a little bit due to a relationship issue. They are struggling with their A-levels. They've ran away from home for about a period of a week. And the advice that Danny's given his friend is to just obviously support and help guide their child. But he would like to know if you, as mums, would have any other advice or life experiences with dealing with a gay child who is struggling emotionally due to relationship issues.
And how old is he?
So he's doing his A-levels. So 16?
16, 17 maybe.
Right. Yeah, again, I suppose he's still settling with the hormones, but it's clearly like it's a relationship, it's a love thing, isn't it? And we've all, regardless of what sexuality we have, we've all been hurt, and we've all been like blinkered with being with somebody that's probably not the greatest to be with, but it is a case of obviously keep monitoring them, and I suppose the more you want to say don't do this, don't do that, that will just bring them further away from you, and it's almost like you want them to know that no matter what, you'll be there, even though you might not like what the outcome is going to be. Not to leave them to their own devices, of course, but to just kind of try and sort of come down to their level, and remember when you was that age, and knowing that, you know, we've all been there. That first love is blind, and yeah, so it's kind of like almost like being on their side as much as you can, and maybe reverse psychology into, well, actually that's beautiful, you know, and just to not agreeing and letting them run, you know, rings around, and you know, but almost like kind of give him a little bit of a, you know, oh yeah, you know, kind of like almost, I'm trying to sort of say, I don't know, because we've kind of like been here, and won't names, but yeah, well, you know, you just got to be there for them, and be on their level, as
Thanks, Mum. That was lovely. Next one.
I completely agree. We've been there too, and
numerous times.
no, not really. You were sort of late teens, and met somebody, and we could see straight away he wasn't very nice. He wasn't nice to Lee, and he was in his life. So we talked about it and thought the worst thing in the world you do is not like the person that your favourite person loves. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we loved him instead. We invited him, we included him, we you know, it was absolutely, he was involved in everything, he was not left out, and what happened was, because of that, Lee started to actually see him properly. And it ended quite nastily. He was coming after Lee with a knife. Though it wasn't just not very nice, there was more things happening that we were sort of, he was a bit aggressive, and yeah, and he was trying to stop Lee from seeing us and doing things. So in the end, we would include him even more, and we would involve him even more, because we just thought, keep them close. And then what happened was Lee could see, and he then was coming toward, I mean, I think you ran over to us because you didn't live too far, and to his dad, can you help? I need him gone, he needs to, will you help me? And his dad packed all his things up, drove him and all his things somewhere, and said, don't come near him. That's it, it's over. And Lee had said it's over, and this is why he was getting nasty. And I think, I don't know if it worked straight away, but you were okay, weren't you? It's sorted. And it had to run its course. If we'd have interfered, so we were just there all the time. We just said, oh, this is like you were saying, this is smashing, this is work. And then we'd say, is he all right? Is he not coming? Oh, we'll give him a ring, or I'd ring him and say, are you coming? Come over, please. I mean, he didn't come Christmas Day. He was moody, went on his own, and we thought he'd be in trouble with this because you came to us Christmas Day, and he wouldn't come. But because we rang him and asked him, please, we can understand, you know, we'd love you to be here. And thank God he wasn't there. It was lovely that he wasn't, like, you know, but we did it the other way, and it worked.
Yeah. Well, you don't have any experience of it.
No, I've no experience at all. My only concern would be the age, who they're actually running off with.
Yeah. Is
it an older guy? Where has he met this person? Or, you know, has it been online? As a parent, I would be concerned at the age.
Because we don't know that age. We didn't know. We didn't get told that part.
No. So, having had no experience of it, that would be my concern. So, as a parent, I would probably be trying the same approach as Lee's mum. Try and be open, try and find out as much as you can, try and be supportive, but at the same time, pointing out the dangers as well.
Yeah.
As a good mother would. You know, a good parent would be trying to give them the good points and also point out the dangers. But having been a bit of a rebel as a teenager myself,
Just a bit.
you know, I went through the whole, my mother and father were very strict and I ran away from home. I hated my parents and it all worked out fine in the end. But, you know, when you've got love and support, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And I know it's not great, but it's the best advice I could give them, I'm afraid.
It's keep your kids close and your kids' relationships closer.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really good advice, guys. Boys, do you have any questions for your mum that you would always wanted to ask but never thought of asking?
Oh.
And my mum.
Both of you.
I don't think so. I'm going to ask, how many episodes of Real Life Gays have you seen?
All of them.
3, I think. 3!
Shocking.
Oh my god!
I skipped them.
Lisa, how many have you seen?
How many have you seen?
4.
Oh my god!
I won't be watching this one.
Not me. I think maybe 3 or 4.
Shocking.
And in between that, I've clicked on this. Oh, flick it forward a bit and then say, I watched it.
So are we all doing the lip sync?
No way!
Why did you
I'm joking.
You better be joking.
You've put it in our heads now.
Do one.
Oh,
That's the plan.
that would have been fun. Oh well.
That would have been fun. I have a question for Lee's mum, Jacqui. What's with all the clocks?
Love that.
I love them.
They're all the different times. Well, some of them are the times when they were born.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So I've got 20 past 6, 10 past 10.
There's more. There's all the clocks.
Yeah. And I just like to clock wall. Some people have mirror walls, don't they? I just fancy the clock wall.
That's
And I just
amazing.
collected them all over the place. I just collected them. Facebook, eBay. Just sort of collected them.
I love
Oh,
I
I
just
love
love
it.
them. I love clocks. I love trees and I love clocks.
Oh.
I shouldn't laugh. We love clocks too without the L. Sorry.
Gareth.
I'll lower the tone.
Caring plan.
Mums, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. I think I've got to know you really well, actually, watching the 2 episodes that I've watched.
You get to know them a lot more when you watch the episodes of Real Life Games.
Absolutely, absolutely. And especially last week when you were all partying and
That was
But I think
I'm on my best behaviour
see,
tonight. You do know this is my wine night and I'm drinking water.
We're actually on the water. When this ends, we will be going on to
Absolutely.
I think you can see why we're all really proud of them, though.
Yeah. I was going to say, are you proud of yourself?
Are you all proud of yourself? I think you all are.
Yeah.
You look like you all are.
Well, you should be.
You are, right?
certain bits of the life that I'm more proud of. I'm proud of what we're doing here. I'm proud that we've met and what we're able to do together as a threesome. I love what we can do, and I'm very proud of it. And there's parts of my life that I'm proud of. Yeah.
And rightly so.
Everything's a learning curve, though, Gareth. You should be proud of everything.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Okay, I'm proud of everything.
Yeah.
What are you proud of? Have you?
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud that we're doing this. I'm proud of myself.
Definitely, 100%.
Proud of you.
Thanks, Mum.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
Ah, look at you.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
And before we end this, we're all going to do a little like this because this will be this what's it called? The thumbnail.
The thumbnail.
So, smile.
They're just gonna do the.
Take your glasses off for a second because you're getting a reflection. Okay, ready?
Jeez.
great
Is
Christmas present.
anything else you just want to add?
I've loved it. It's been great. I haven't really enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
I was just about to say, have you enjoyed
So
being on the
exciting.
show?
Yeah.
And I was nervous, I'll be honest. Were you nervous?
Oh.
No.
No.
I was more bothered about how fat I looked.
Thanks for
Oh.
makeup.
She was saying the same.
I said to Lee, can we do a disclaimer? He said, what do you mean? I said, can I just say it's the drugs, but not in a good way? And he went, no, I can't say that.
She was getting ready about an hour before I got home from work, so she's been with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I get it from. The worry about it.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. I have enjoyed it.
thank
And the boys have as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you to all the viewers who gave us their questions. And thank you for everyone who is watching and still watching all of our 15 amazing episodes.
I know.
I'll need to wake up.
Remember, if you have any questions for us, or you'd like any advice, or you just want to talk, it is reallifegays@yahoo.com. And you can also catch us on our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @reallifegays.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Aww.
You have to, mums, you have to join in with our goodbye thing.
That one.
That's it.
So when we say cut, you have to go like that.
Okay.
I
right.
know. Watch it.
First of all, you have to wave. But thank you everyone for watching. Mwah. Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ready?
Cut.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown a mind. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. That's what we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. Oh, we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown a mind. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown a mind. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me.